The college football experience, Illinois Fighting Illini 2023 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks, brought to you by Circa Sports. Yes, Circa Sports is back with their Circa Survivor and Circa Millions contest. $14 million are up for grabs, people. Get all the details at circasports.com. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, everybody, Jim McMahon here, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Illinois Fighting Illini 2023 season preview episode. I'm excited to talk about the Illini in Illinois, or Illinois as I thought growing up, as an idiot. Don't worry, I'm still an idiot, and I'm excited to have you folks here. And perhaps you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to. Well, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
Oh, yeah, buddy. We're here to talk Illini. Remember that sweet photo of Bielema and Cabo San Lucas with a pitcher of beer?
Oh, yeah.
That's a football guy right there, man.
That guy lives.
He does
He's
live.
a man after my own heart.
And he's back in his home
He's
state.
my hero. He's
You called this one.
To.
You called this one in year one. You locked up Illinois on the over. You locked up Illinois on the over again last year.
Hello.
Bielema should be sending you fan mail, man. buying you pictures of beer or something. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh.
Oh, buddy. This is Illinois. This is the Fighting Illini. They're coming back, baby. This is back to the days. This is a three-time. I don't know if they own it. You never know, what school owns the national championship. 4-time national championship, in my opinion. 1910, 1923, 1927, 1951. If they want to reach out to me, we are a publication, and I will deem you national championship, because we know Texas, Alabama, and plenty of other schools have these phony national championships from the Waterloo Weekend Report, or some shit like that. Look, I am honored to have this next guy on, because if anyone knows college football as well as him, I'd be surprised. He knows college football really well. If you follow his Twitter account, I'm always impressed. All right. I'm always impressed because he'll be talking about the linebacker play for New Mexico State. He is on point, and he is also a writer for Sideline Sports Network and Dimers.com. He is a college football writer, not just any type of writer. Give it up for Brandon Moore. How you doing, Brandon? Appreciate you hopping on the show.
Doing good. I'm honored. I'm privileged to be here with you guys. And of course, when you guys start pumping out these podcasts, college football season's right around the corner.
Yes, man. And it's just a great time to be, every day I wake up and I'm sitting there and I'm okay, we're close. We're close. It
really didn't even set into me. I've been doing the previews. It didn't set into me till 4th of July happened.
Yeah, normally 4th of July is you
get on the other side of that and you're like, well, what's next?
Something about the alcohol and Roman candles going off. I think just channel football.
It's in America.
Yes,
America comes out.
That's what it is. That's what it is. So
the smell of sulfur.
Yes.
Fireworks.
The smell of sulfur. I live in Los Angeles, so the amount of illegal fireworks going, dude. I was at my buddy, rest in peace, my buddy Richard Alderete, his house one time, and I'm sitting there night before 4th of July. Hadn't even turned 4th of July yet, but it's like 11 o'clock at night. This is East LA. All right.
Oh yeah.
My guy Richard, great guy. But dude, they didn't even. Some people are shooting off fireworks. The rest are just shooting bullets up into the air. Just absolutely hilarious. I'm like, well, this shit's got to come down somewhere. Let's get inside.
I always wondered about that.
Yeah, so you got the old school fireworks here in LA. We might just shoot off a couple guns up in the air. Let's go. All right. Look, let's talk a little Illini football because Bret Bielema shooting fireworks up in the air when he signed on to be the head coach of the Illini. And look, Patty C, I'll give you credit. I thought it would take a year or two. Now, I think I took the over last year, but the year one, I was reluctant to. I thought he was walking in. I thought it was going to take a while. I was the idiot there. You have been spot on the Illini. And Bielema, despite, whatever happened at Arkansas, it's funny, you talk to the Arkansas fans, I don't even think he did that bad at Arkansas, but for some reason they moved along and it went to Chad Morris, and you saw how that worked out. But here he is now at 13-12 in 2 years, considering what he walked into, in the Illinois was 2-6 during the COVID season. So he walked into that. What do you make of the Bielema era right now, Patty C? And then I'll ask Brendan the same. But for you first, Patty C, what do you make of the Bielema experience? Year 3 here going on.
I mean, he took over from a 2-6 Lovie Smith / Rod Smith coach team. 5-7,
and they hadn't had a winning season since Ron Zook in 2011 when they went to the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl. So year one, I know he was just shy of doing that. In 21, 22, 8-5 as he jumps up from 5-7 to 8-5.
I think they take that, right?
Yeah, I think they take that too. Brandon, I know you're in Big Ten country. What's your opinion of Bielema in general as a head coach?
Yeah, I think he's done a great job of player development at Illinois. I mean, you look at the last NFL draft back in April, they have like 4 or 5 guys drafted. Devon Witherspoon went top 10. So, I mean, they don't get 4 stars, 5 stars a whole lot. And I think most of the guys drafted this year were 3 stars, or I think there was even one of them unranked. So, yeah, great job by Bielema on player development. So
Witherspoon was a 0 star.
Really?
0 star.
Yeah, he was the one. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Top 10 pick by who got them? Lions? Is that the Lions?
I don't think it wasn't the Lions.
My thing is I did like 4 mock drafts. Like I published 4 mock drafts. So I don't remember which one's right, the real NFL draft or my mock drafts. But anyway,
Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawks. Okay. Yeah. That's what happens. You start writing these mock drafts, man. You're like, wait, did he go there? Or was that just me?
Right, imagining
3 whiskeys deep, filling out my 5th mock draft. So here we are. Bielema's done just a fantastic job. He enters year 3 now. I think, the big X factor is going to be replacing Ryan Walters, who's now the head coach of the Purdue Boilermakers. I'm a Colorado Buffalo fan. I grew up a Colorado Buffalo fan. Ryan Walters played safety for Colorado, and he's been very good wherever he's kind of been. Thought he did a decent job at Missouri. But the question is was he really the difference on that defense, or is that Bielema? That's Bielema's specialty. It's funny. I sometimes would get him confused with Paul Christ. Sorry, Brett. And
fair.
Well, Chris is an offensive guy.
Yeah.
So I always would forget. Wait, is Bielema defense or offense? Turns out Bielema is defense, and you wonder, is he still going to have a top 10 defense or top 20 defense even without Ryan Walters? What do you think, Patty C?
I mean, a lot of that depends on what they're bringing back, but we'll get to that. But yeah, off the top, I don't see a huge regression. So I see it in that range.
Yeah. I think as much as I think Ryan Walters is a very good coach, or young talent to be a coach, and we'll see how he does in West Lafayette, I still think this defense will be fine.
I mean, it's not going to be because they were a top 10. I don't know if they're going to be a top 10 again.
Yeah, well, it's tough. Sometimes the schedule aligns. Sometimes, I do think they were legit, really good defense. Yeah. But Brandon, how about you?
I'm with you guys. Bielema's specialties, obviously on the defensive side. I think losing Walters to Purdue definitely hurts. I don't think they'll regress too much. I think the talent that they lost would probably be a bigger reason as why they're going to regress. If they do regress, we don't know that yet. Right? I'd lean more towards the talent than I would say losing Walters.
Yeah. I think I would agree with that.
It's almost impossible for them not to regress based on how high this defense finished last year.
Well, regress as a defense, but as a team, you could talk me into. We'll get to this.
I think they'll be all right.
You could talk me into the quarterback play being better. Yeah. We're gonna get to all that. We're gonna talk transfer portal. We're gonna talk offense, defense, special teams, the yin, the yang. Bielema ball, baby. We're going to talk it all. But before we do that, we got to get paid. We want to tell you that the Illinois Fighting Illini 2023 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Circa Sports. Yes, Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back. And $14 million in guaranteed prizes are back. And they're up for grabs. What are you doing, folks? Circa Millions. Here's how that works. You pick 5 NFL picks ATS each week, and the winner takes home all that cash at the end of the year. Then you also have Circa Survivor. Just pick a different moneyline winner each and every week. Obviously, you can't pick the same team twice because if you've played Survivor, you know that. You can enter in Las Vegas, play from anywhere. And look, the SGPN crew will be out there, be out in Vegas last weekend in August. If you're there, hit us up. Even if you're not there, might set up a little proxy. So circasports.com for all the details. Circasports.com once again. And what would you do if you won $14 million, Patty C? Would you pull a Bielema and go to Cabo San Lucas and have pictures of beer and crazy photos about you? And not give a
I would
shit?
certainly spend at least $1 million on that. And then, and I'd spend the rest recruiting Chicago.
$1 million can go really far in Mexico because I once went with like $5,000. And it happened to be the week that Trump was elected. So I think there were the month that Trump came into office, not elected. And I don't know if they had a fear for that or something, but I couldn't spend this money. It was impossible. Like I tried, like I was there for 2 weeks in Puerto Vallarta. And like after like being there 11 days, I looked and I was like, wait, how's it possible that I only spent $400? You know what I mean? I'm like, I brought down $5,000. What's going on here? So $1 million in Cabo San Lucas.
They're not afraid of deportation down in Mexico. I don't think that was it. But
I don't know what was going on, but I can tell you this, man. I was living like Burt Reynolds down there. And you can too, all right, if you go to circasports.com, all right? Go to Circa Sports for all the details. You're going to figure all that stuff out. It's fantastic. What's not to love about NFL picks and Survivor contests? So do that, circasports.com. All right, we are back on the College Football Experience Illinois Fighting Illini 2023 season preview episode. And, I mean, I feel like we have a rhythm to this now. When we were doing this show 5-6 years ago, Patty C, the transfer portal was like 2 players. Remember that? Yeah. Remember those days?
No,
We'd be
good
like,
old days.
Steve Wilson they're bringing in. Where do you think he'll fit in? We didn't even care.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, it's probably going to be a backup. Now, if you're not Army, Air Force, or Navy, or Kirk Ferentz, you don't really, or Dabo, actually, for some reason. He's still making that. He's still winning ACC championships.
Culture.
In neglect of the transfer portal. But now it's such a big thing. I feel like we have to grade this thing. So I guess let's dive into this thing. Departing from the Illini is tight end Navion Cargill. Great name. Defensive lineman Rashawn Wilkins going to UConn. Cargill's still in the portal, but Wilkins is with our friend of the program, Jim Mora Jr. Cornerback Prince Green is now at Georgia Southern. Linebacker Calvin Hart goes to the Beavers in Oregon State. Linebacker Shaman Cooper is in Akron Zip, saying zip it up. Wide receiver Kamari Thompson's heading to Arkansas State with Butch Jones and company. Defensive lineman Vertus Brown heading to Campbell. The Campbells in the FCS with Mike Minter. Wide receiver Brian Hightower. Patty C, you were a big police academy guy. Were you a Hightower or Motormouth Jones guy?
I was a Hightower.
Yeah, I was kind of because he played for the Baltimore Colts and he would probably destroy you in real life. Rest in peace to Hightower. But Brian Hightower was a big recruit for them at one point. Now he goes to Berkeley to drop acid with the Cal Golden Bears. Offensive tackle Matt Fries goes to Monmouth in the CAA. Cornerback Daniel Edwards goes to Western Kentucky, and safety D.D. Snyder, who, by the way, just followed us recently, goes to Ball State. I only see that's everyone that left. And I only see 2 Power 5 parts that landed with Power 5. Linebacker Calvin Hart at Oregon State, who did win 10 games a season ago, and Hightower going to California.
Who was their second leading receiver?
That's a big loss. And he was a decent recruit for them. I know that. But those are the 2 ones that stand out. Maybe you can make a case that Wilkins or Green. I don't know. But maybe Snyder at Ball State. He did follow us, so I pretty much think he's going to be the best safety in America this year. Incoming is safety Nicario Harper from the Louisville Cardinals. Quarterback, and I want us to circle these two quarterbacks because Luke Altmaier comes in from Ole Miss. He was a big-time recruit there in Oxford. And quarterback John Paddock, who started all last season for the Ball State Cardinals, and he was a backup to Drew Plitt for a long time there in Muncie, Indiana. Patty C, you're not going to get Muncie out in the middle of nowhere if you bring in John Paddock. Tight end Tanner Arkin comes in from Colorado State. Defensive lineman Denzel Daxon from the Ohio Bobcats. They won 10 games a season ago in the MAC. Safety Demetrius Hill from the airport known as Florida International. That's a really good get. And safety Clayton Bush from Southern Illinois. He comes in. We are still looking into the fact to see if he is related to the great George W., which I cannot find his quote right now, but I don't know. I'm terrible. The new soundboard really ruining the.
I thought you were
timing.
going for the shots fired.
Going for Southern Illinois to Illinois? No.
I feel like
get paid, brother. Get paid.
Yeah.
But the soundboard is everything's in different spots. It's like muscle memory. So when that happens, the comedic timing ruins.
No one has.
They don't understand.
No one has sympathy for the comedian who explains why his joke didn't work.
Yeah,
just get your muscle memory.
Just know there's a George Bush clip on here that I was trying to play. All right, and maybe he's related to the Bushes. You never know. But anyway, let's talk about the transfer portal. To me, I've lobbied this all off season, and really since the transfer portal started to go batshit crazy over the past few years, that if you land your starting quarterback in the portal, you have won the transfer portal. And I would say Altmaier, I think, is going to start, but even if he was not to start, it would be Paddock. So they landed their starting quarterback in the transfer portal. I think it's a fact to say that. So I'm going to say they won the portal. I also like Demetrius Hill, the safety from FIU. Nicario Harper from Louisville, I think, is a good addition. An underrated addition could be Denzel Daxon from the Ohio Bobcats. I don't know. We're going to have to see if he can take his play from MAC to Big Ten and see if that will equate. But Patty C, would you say they won the transfer portal?
I guess getting your starting quarterback, although Luke Altmaier's proven just about as much as anyone else on that roster. So, still.
Buddy, you think he's an upgrade to Tommy DeVito or do they wait, I forgot to double check here. Do they still have our guys? Satowski's gone, right? Satowski's gone.
He's
right?
gone. Yeah.
Okay. It's an upgrade in a way, right? DeVito was actually like sneaky, somewhat decent. I don't want to say he was good.
Brandon Peters graduate. Was that
Brandon Peters a couple years ago?
Yeah.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. Would you say that?
I mean, losing Hightower is huge, right? I mean, Isaiah Williams coming back, so they have their number one receiver, but Brian Hightower, number two receiver, out. But yeah, bringing in your starting quarterback, that's a win.
And don't forget, Paddock's been in college since he's on the Stetson Bennett plan. So, Brandon, what do you think of the transfer portal? Would you say they won the transfer portal there in Champaign?
I think they won. Obviously, losing Hightower, losing Hart, both going to Power 5 schools, that kind of sucks. But I still think they'll be fine at the wide receiver position. But you also bring in two, I think, starting quality quarterbacks with Paddock and with Altmaier. And I like the Demetrius Hill pickup as well. I think he's an underrated safety. So I think they definitely won the transfer portal.
I think so too. And poor Mike McIntyre, our boy Mike McIntyre down there at FIU, they just get plucked away every year. All their best players. I think they won it as well. Let's talk about the offense because Barry Lunney's back, the former UTSA OC from a couple years ago. He actually beat Illinois at Illinois. I wonder if that's how he got the gig. Bielema was like, "Hey, whoever's doing this is good." Last season, I believe year one in Champaign, if memory serves me correct, scoring offense was 94th. The rush offense was 55th. The pass offense was 91st, and the total offense 73rd. Do we first year in Champaign, Patty C? If you're an Illini fan, are you happy with 73rd?
Well, they were 112 the year before, so I think so.
Yeah, it's pretty big jump, right?
Yeah.
Brandon, what do you make of Barry Lunney's offense and the jumps the strides that this Illini offense made in year one of his tenure?
Yeah, I think Illinois fans should be happy with the jump they made in offense. I think a lot of that could be attributed to the quarterback play. I thought DeVito was very underrated last year. So if they stay around FBS average, I think this team can easily hit that over there.
Yeah. And I think one of the flaws, though, from a season ago, and you're right, DeVito did. You know, the best thing that DeVito did was he didn't turn the ball over. I think that was the thing that really jumped out to people watching the Illini. They didn't turn the ball over that much. So, but they didn't really stretch the field. I think they're one of the worst teams in the nation at trying to stretch the field. So they bring back 6 starters on offense. Maybe they can stretch the field more. We'll see. Reggie Love is the penciled in running back. Altmeyer is penciled in to be the starter, but once again, Paddock has a number of starts and he's the backup. But yeah, Reggie Love at the running back spot. They also have Josh McCray. I know they lose Chase Brown. He was fantastic, but Bielema running backs are gonna be. They're gonna be.
I don't know
numbers,
that I agree that it's just plug and play with a guy like Chase Brown, 5th round draft pick to the Bengals. I thought he was kind of a difference maker. But
if memory serves me correct, and I'm not sure if it was him or Lovey. Wasn't he like a converted defensive back that they put at running back?
Brown?
I thought so, right?
Could be. I'd have to double.
I'm dating myself here, but I thought that he originally as a recruit was coming in as like a defensive back and then or linebacker.
He was at Western Michigan his freshman year and was a running back there, but maybe he was recruited.
Maybe that happened there though. I don't know. I do remember that story. I thought, but yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, he's in the NFL, but
1,600 rushing yards is not easy to replace.
But when's the last time Bielema had a running back that wasn't just even at Arkansas?
Well, they have great line play under him.
Yeah,
they're a physical ass brand with him at coaching it. So they're gonna have, but whether it's one guy or a running back by committee, I think you rarely see a 1,600 yard back who isn't kind of special. Usually that would become a running back by committee situation.
You're fearful for a drop off in the run game.
I think they'll be fine in the run game, but I just think you're not gonna have a guy like Chase Brown necessarily come in and play. We'll see. Maybe Reggie Love is it Josh McCray?
Reggie Love, I'm seeing penciled as a starter, but who knows? We'll figure it out. But McCray also right there in the race. Do you think the run game will drop off, Brendan, or you think Bielema will have them ship shape?
I think they'll regress a little bit, not too much, because I still like the offensive line. I think they're big, they're physical, like you guys touched on. I still think Reggie Love's a good back. McCray, I believe, is coming off an injury, so we'll see how he does this year. But losing Chase Brown, his second career in rushing yards in Illinois history, that's a big loss. But I still like their 2 backs that they got in Love and McCray.
Yeah, I think they'll still be pretty solid on the ground. Now, to me, the big thing that I want to see, Barry Lunney was at UTSA with Frank Harris. And to me, if they can open up just a tiny bit on the passing, they don't need to be a passing team. They can just take a few more deep shots. Can we see that progression? Can we see Altmeyer, who I think might have more faith in throwing the ball down the field? But he also, with that, Tommy DeVito took great care of the ball. So maybe Altmeyer might make a few more mistakes, which could damage that defense.
Well, 3 years of eligibility for Altmeyer left.
Yeah.
So maybe the future is where, because I mean, especially if you're a run first system, you're developing a quarterback's confidence, and then you can become more of a pass first team and, lean on that and create true unpredictability in your offense. That's when a team like that becomes really potent. So they might be a couple years away, but right away, I still think they're going to be fine.
Yeah. And I think they will take more shots. Now, I really do. Now they bring back Isaiah Williams and Patrick Bryant at the wide receiver spot. They're going to be, obviously, with Hightower leaving. I'm seeing Casey Washington, a senior, penciled in to be their other starter. The tight end spot, you got great name here, Tip Reiman. Tip Reiman. I hope I'm not butchering your name, Tip, because that's the way I think it's pronounced. He's back at the tight end spot, and then the offensive line that Brendan was alluding to, they bring back both tackles, which you got to love. And Isaiah Adams at the left guard spot. Now they are breaking in a new center, who I believe played in I think 13 games last year. But Joshua Krutz is his name. I don't worry. It's almost like Ferentz with defense. It's like I'm sure the line play is going to be good. If Bielema's back, if he's picking these guys, I don't worry that much with the drop off.
Well, that's supposedly Olin Krutz's son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, it's in the blood.
Little bloodline, little Illinois blood there.
What do you make of the whole offense altogether, Brendan? Do you think this offense will take a step forward, or should we expect more turnovers from Altmeyer and maybe a little regression in 23? What do you think?
I think if they can hover around the 60 to 70-ish in the FBS, I think they'll be pretty fine. Quarterback play, I do expect a little bit more turnovers. DeVito, like you guys mentioned, probably didn't push the ball downfield far enough. I think you expect to see a little bit more of that this year with Altmeyer, Paddock, whoever's starting. I actually like Paddock more personally, but we'll see who's starting. I think running backs are solid. At receivers, you got Isaiah Williams, Pat Bryant, Casey Washington. I think that's a solid 1, 2, 3 right there. And I like Isaiah Adams. I like Julian Pearl at the offensive line, left guard and left tackle. I just have a blind trust in Bret Bielema. It's a mouthful there. Bret Bielema, just to be physical at the line of scrimmage and have good line of scrimmage play.
I do too. And I even think, the tight end position could be something they utilize a little more. They got Arkin coming in from Colorado State, might give them some added depth at the tight end position. Their kicker, Caleb Griffin, is back. He was 14 of 19 on field goals a season ago. He was a senior, and I got a senior kicker. Close game. That always matters, Patty C. Now, the defensive side of the ball, they also returned 6 starters. So 6 on offense, 6 on defense. New DC, though, is Aaron Henry, who, played for Bielema, right? Played for Bielema back in the day. He inherits
back at Wisconsin, right?
This is tough, though, to come into a situation where it's almost impossible. It's like, here you go. Scoring defense first in the nation a season ago. Rush defense 9th, pass defense 8th, total defense 3rd.
Yeah, replicate that.
Yeah, exactly. Is there any way he can still be a top 10 defense? Now I know Bielema is bullish about some of the guys in the defensive side of the ball, but at the same time, I still feel like we got to expect a little regression here, right, Petty C?
Maybe. I mean, their top 4 sack leaders are all back.
Yeah, and I know that's what he's been outspoken about that. I think he's very excited about some of those names on the defense side of the ball. But, man, you would just think another top 10 year. I know Air Force did it.
Well, you can't get better than number 1. So, yes, I expect a little regression.
Yeah, well, number 1 scoring defense.
Number 3 overall.
Brendan, how about you? Do you think that the defense will be on par, maybe just a slight dip, or should we expect quite a bit of a dip here?
I do expect a little bit of a regression. In the defensive backfield alone, you lose 3 guys to the NFL. Sidney Brown, Devon Witherspoon, Jartavius Martin. Yeah, it's the last name, Jartavius Martin. So I do expect a little bit of regression. You got to keep in mind, they're not playing great offenses this season. They're in the Big Ten West. You got Iowa, you got Northwestern on the schedule. They don't play a ton of great offenses. So, I mean, those stats might be a little bit overinflated.
Yeah, might be diluted a little bit. They also got Chattanooga in the FCS a season ago. They don't have an FCS on the schedule this year. See,
they did have Michigan, though, who was a pretty good offense, and they shut them down pretty well.
They got I'm still mad about that. If I was Bielema, I thought they got a little. Oh yeah, Michigan got a little generous whistle. I thought
Michigan
in that game
is always going to get that.
Well, I mean, he wasn't pissed off. I think he tweeted something. But anyway, on the defensive line of scrimmage, you got Keith Randolph back at the defensive end spot. I'm sorry. And then you have Jerzon Newton, who is a fucking beast. First team last season. This guy is good. So I think that both guys on the defensive line, I think, and now I understand what he's talking about when he says, like, hey, I got my sack leaders back. There's a reason why he's probably really excited. And I'll tell you this, if you're going to have an inexperienced secondary, what's the best thing to have? A fucking great pass rush. All right. So getting those guys back, obviously the linebacker play, I know they're high on Barnes, the senior. They bring back 3 of 4 in the linebacking core, Seth Coleman as well. How do you see? I think from a front 7 perspective, you're sitting there saying, hell yeah. If you're an Illini fan, what do you think?
Yeah, front 7 definitely. Back in the defensive backfield, like we mentioned, a lot of talent. Number 5 pick in the draft. Devon Witherspoon wasn't on my radar. I'll admit it. I wasn't watching closely enough to be tracking every defensive back in the nation. I think he shot up draft boards pretty late, but his highlight films, holy crap, was he a physical corner? So yeah, that will be missing from the secondary, presumably. I don't think that guy just walks through the door every day. Yeah,
you got Tavion Nicholson though, so at least you got a cornerback. But yeah, I still say though the best thing to help that is a great pass rush.
Yeah.
Brendan, what do you make of the front 7 for the Illini?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mentioned the secondary earlier, losing 3 NFL draft picks, but what helps the secondary is a good pass rush, and I think Illinois got it with Newton, with Randolph at the defensive end spots. And I'm willing to put those two. I think they can start on any Big Ten team right now, Newton and Randolph.
Yeah, I know that everyone is raving about. It seems like you're probably right. I know, it's crazy to say that when you think Michigan, Ohio State in the Big Ten, and Penn State's been recruiting really well, but you're probably right.
No, were they sending a lot with Walter? Because Coleman and Jacobs at the linebacker position, each getting at least 4 sacks too. I mean, they're running. It looks like I haven't again studied their defense super closely, but it looks like they have 5 defensive backs and they're running a 3-3. I guess teams that are particularly physical and have huge bodies up front can get away with that. Or maybe they just have physical nickelbacks that, can be flexible and cover the pass and also support the run. But either way,
it is impressive when you consider the Big Ten West. Like when you consider your traditional 3-3-5s, and we love the 3-3-5, but
you usually need more big bodies.
Yeah, I understand. But the Big Ten West, especially last year when you didn't have Wisconsin doing the dairy raid offense, you had them going, still trying to go a little power.
Yeah. You know what I imagine it is? I imagine it's a 3-3, but the fact that both of those outside linebackers are racking up sacks, they probably walk them up into a 4-man front.
Yeah, I think that was part of their great defense was the unpredictability of who was coming at you.
Yeah.
So we gotta like that. Now they do also have their punter Hugh Robertson's back, sophomore season. 61 punts a season ago. Punters matter in the Big Ten West. That's what I love about the Big Ten West. You know what I mean? Fucking Northwestern and Iowa's punters are like their best players on the team.
1960s never ended in the Big Ten West.
So I'm saying, man, Jeff Gossett's probably just watching those. Anyway, look, I think we're gonna get to it. We're gonna go talk every single game on the Illini schedule for 2023. But before we do that, I want to tell you that the college football experience Fighting Illini 2023 season preview is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Best Ball Mania is here. And Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in prizes. Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on your favorite MLB and NFL season player props. And I can't, when the season, we've been with Underdog for the past couple of years. So look, this isn't scripted. I'm just going to give it from the heart.
There you go.
All right. They have awesome college football player props where you would be surprised. You get some of those Tuesday, Wednesday Maction games or those Sunbelt Thursday games or just regular Saturday games where you can find some mid-majors, but you can really find some, if you know college football well, you can find some great value because they do the college football player props. Will Jalen Daniels of Kansas rush for over 45 rushing yards? Yes. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of fun. During the season, you'll hear me talking about this. So buckle up. There's so many ways to win over at Underdog, and Underdog's available in so many different states. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Once again, that's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. All right, folks, we are back on the Fighting Illini 2023 season preview. And Patty C, here we are. And folks, hopefully you're watching on YouTube.com/the college experience. But even if not, subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. 5 stars. Call me an idiot. I don't care. But you see, if you're watching on YouTube, this sweet graphic that our guy Cameron Kerr, our graphics guy, did. And he put the win total up there from DraftKings at 6.5. 6.5, Patty C. You have been a machine on calling the Illini overs the past 2 years, more so than myself or NC Nick. So, first reaction when you see 6.5, is that a giggle from you? And this is a lock?
It's not a giggle from me.
No?
Off the cuff, it sounds about accurate. There are a couple things about this schedule that makes me optimistic, but I don't see them as like a 9 or 10 win team here. So, I think 6.5 is starting to push what the expectation should be. It sounds kind of accurate to me.
Okay. Brendan, how about you? Like, first reaction without really diving into the schedule, because I know we're going to get to that, but just knowing Bret Bielema, knowing his success in the Big Ten West and stuff, do you first think, oh, he could hit that over, or is this spot on? What do you think?
I'm with Patty C. I think it's pretty accurate. I would say I'd probably put it at 6.5 as well. I mean, I don't think they're going to be a 9, 10 10-win team. 8 wins probably be even tough to get to, but certainly I don't think they'll be like a 3 or 4 win team. So I think 6.5 is pretty accurate.
I'll say this from last season. You look at the non-con last year, and I think they got a nice little gift from the gods here, because you had Wyoming get absolutely. Look, we love Wyoming football here. We probably keep a closer eye on Wyoming football than a lot of other programs. We knew how bad they got rated in the portal. So especially getting Wyoming week 1 or week 0, we knew it was just a bad spot for Wyoming, considering how bad they lost all that production. We still locked up the over and cashed on that. Thank you very much, Will. But we knew that whoever gets them week 1, they're really going to be able to dominate than we thought. Then they had the Virginia Cavaliers, who Patty C, I know you're wearing the Virginia hat, and we could talk about that later. But because they might have been, I think you could argue that they were among the worst Power Fives in all of college football.
They were bad, but they weren't as bad as you're making them out to be. But they were not good. They were not good.
Sure.
And Illinois.
He's a homer. All right, I'm giving you it. No,
they weren't good. I'm not trying to claim they were good. I don't think they were the worst team in the country.
Northwestern, probably.
Sure, any of the Colorado teams of that ilk were worse.
You think Colorado was worse than Virginia last year?
I'd have to look at it. Colorado, Virginia. I mean, it's similar.
Yeah. Anyway, my point is that the non-con, the third game was Chattanooga. So they had an FCS. They had Wyoming at the perfect time to play Wyoming, and then you had Virginia, who was basically like an FCS. So my point is, this year when you look at the non-con and you see Toledo, who won the MAC, Kansas, who was a bowl team, and Florida Atlantic, who's been recruiting really well, that somehow missed the bowl because Willie Taggart can't coach, but Tom Herman's there now. So I think it's a lot harder. There's no FCS, and I think that the floor is a little higher as far as the teams that they're playing in the non-con. So week 1, Patty, Saturday, September 2nd. And look, I know
way tougher. You're right.
I know our friend Alex, who runs the MAC podcast. He's going to this game. He's high. He thinks Toledo can hang with them. I don't think they can bang with them. He might be able to hang with them. Give me Illinois to beat Toledo. Now, Toledo gave up 77 to Ohio State last year. I know Toledo keeps a good program, though. I really do. They keep a good program, but Eli and I got this one. What are you doing here?
Talking about the number 3 defense in the country last year. Toledo's not built to beat that at a Power 5 level.
Want to know?
Want to know.
Brendan, what are you doing here in the Maction game on Saturday, September 2nd?
Before I make a pick, I got to add, I think the 3 non-conference games this year for Illinois are better than all 3 that they played last year. So that just speaks to how tough the schedule is this year compared to last year. As for Toledo, I think DeQuan Finn, he's a good quarterback. I think he can contest the secondary a little bit. I think Toledo might hang around for a half, maybe into the third quarter, but I think Illinois dominates the line of scrimmage. I think they pull away. Give me Illini.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's the deciding factor. I know Toledo banged with. Was that Notre Dame that they banged with last year? Or was that it was 2 years ago, right? It's 2 years ago, I think, right?
Toledo.
Yeah, I think that was with Brian Kelly.
They should have beaten.
But Notre Dame's got great. As much as they have their shortcomings with the wide receiver position or something, normally they can bang pretty well. So Toledo did hold their own then, but I'm with you. Eli and I get that dub. Now, Saturday, September 9th. Wait, I think they moved this to 8th.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah. Friday game, yep.
Yeah, Illinois at Kansas. Thank you for moving this to a weeknight game because we don't want to – what are we going to be watching? The MLB? Come on, stop it. Illinois.
TGIF ain't on anymore. We're not getting Balky anymore these days. No one knows what we're talking about.
That's what's great. I don't even know what you're talking about. Look, Illinois at Kansas. I already did the Kansas preview, guy. Oh, no, I mean, I did this on the SGP show. But I have Kansas winning this. I think Leipold and Jalen Daniels, as long as Jalen Daniels is healthy, because I think they went 6-1, if memory serves me correct, when he was a starter a season ago, and the one loss was in a bowl game. And still, I don't know if he was fully 100% healthy because he came back from that injury. So I got the Jayhawks winning this one. I think this is going to be a very close game. But the fact it's in Lawrence, give me the Jayhawks to get this thing done. Patty C, what are you doing here? This is a battle of our coaches.
Yeah, see, there's a Colby coach versus a Patty C coach. However, I am drinking your Kool-Aid here, especially in Lawrence. A little early for the new quarterback situation to be worked out at Illinois. Give me the Jayhawks.
Well, Kansas defense was not setting the world on fire last year. Well, actually, I guess they were from giving up yardage, but I think they'll be a little bit better this year. And as long as they have Daniels, I think they can get that done. Brendan, how about you in Lawrence? What are you doing here?
I'm with you guys. I'm going Jayhawks at home. I like Jalen Daniels, especially if he stays healthy this year. Jalen Daniels, Devin Neal, and then they got a good offensive lineman, Mike Nowitzki, all selected to Big 12 preseason first team a couple days ago. So they got a lot of talent there. This is not the Kansas of old. I got the Jayhawks here.
Yeah, and they even have Jason Bean. Even if Daniels is dinged up, Bean is a serviceable backup. I don't think that's what's crazy is you think about Kansas from years ago and how bad they were. You could argue they might have the one of the best backup quarterbacks in America.
Yeah.
So
he's very good. Number 32 offense in the country, Kansas, versus number 3 defense.
And remember, they probably would have been higher had Daniels only started like 6 games in the regular season. Then he got injured, the collarbone.
Yeah, Daniels pretty darn good.
The following week, and I think Penn State, I've talked to my Penn State friends that are fans of the Nittany Lions, and they've been circling this game as the trap game. Even though I know we just did the Iowa preview and we thought the Iowa game might be a little sneaky, even though it's in there. But Penn State coming to Champaign. This will be Drew Allar's first real time. I don't know. Neil Brown does a decent job with defense, but we're just expecting West Virginia to be so bad. Penn State in Champaign, Patty C. You got a bold take here. You're a Bielema guy.
There is a very decent chance that they're in this game late. I would not put it at all. This schedule is pretty great. The fact that this is probably like the hardest team they play on their entire schedule, and they get them at home, and it's not one of these teams that's just on a different level than them. They are.
Yeah.
Penn State's on a different level than Illinois, but they're not 2 levels above them. So I don't know. I'm still going Penn State, but it's going to be close.
I am too, but this is it is going to be a fun watch. Brendan, what are you doing here on September 16th when Penn State comes to town?
I have to remind the listeners, last time these two teams met, 9 overtimes in Happy Valley, 2021. So I think this game's going to be really close. I'm bullish on Penn State this year, so I'm going to go Nittany Lions. If Penn State were in any other division in college football this year, I think I would pick them to make the college football playoff. So that's how high I am on Penn State. I think they're a top 5 team. So I'm going to go Nittany Lions. I think it'll be close, but Penn State wins it.
I agree. Penn State gets this done.
Drew Allar, the question marks are there for me. Everyone's hyping him.
Of course, we got to see more. We didn't see enough.
It's hard to step in, when Sean Clifford goes down and try and engineer some drives. But I wasn't super impressed. With him. But I'm going to hold my judgment till he's getting starting reps.
That backfield.
The backfield is dynamite.
Yeah. That always helps a young quarterback.
Yeah, it does.
The very next week, this is a sneaky one to me. If they beat Penn State. If they beat Penn State and they storm the field, top 10 win. I'm telling you, Tom Herman walked into a very talented FAU team. I get it. You look and say, well, this team was 5-7 a year ago. But if you look at the talent that he brought in and bringing in Casey Thompson, the guy who started in the Big Ten a year ago, I think this is a sneaky game. But I'll still go. I'm going to trust Bielema here. But don't be surprised if this is 20-20 in the fourth quarter. Give me the Illini, but I'm not loving it, especially if they beat Penn State. If they beat Penn State the week before, I almost like FAU to upset them here. Patty C, what are you doing here?
I'm curious. I need to look up Tom Herman's.
Florida Atlantic lost by 1 at Purdue last year.
Purdue being the Big Ten West champ.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not that bad, man.
We all know that Tom Herman was Urban Meyer's understudy at Ohio State. The offense has potential. I think if Illinois if Illinois doesn't have the answer for that offense, it's going to be hard for them to go.
McCammon's back at running back. He's good.
Still,
yeah.
I'm going Illini in Champaign.
Another thing is it won't be that cold yet either. But Brendan, what are you doing here on September 23rd?
Yeah, I'm just looking right now at Casey Thompson's stats last year against Illinois. When he was at Nebraska, Illinois won this game 26-9. Casey Thompson was 7 for 15. 172 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. So not great. Obviously new team, new offense. Tom Herman coaching FAU now. But I think Illinois bounces back after 2 straight losses and wins this one to get back to 500.
True. But also remember Casey Thompson was the starting quarterback for Tom Herman in the Alamo Bowl a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying he's familiar with the offense.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
Very true. It might be a quick study there.
The very next week, Saturday, September 30th, you get the rematch, or not the rematch, but the fact that Ryan Walters, Bielema got in a way was a catalyst to help him get to his first head coaching position in West Lafayette. So Illinois coming into Purdue. Purdue went out and hired Graham Harrell at the coordinator spot. I don't know if I like it. I don't know, but I like Hudson Card. I thought the Hudson Card get was good. Graham Harrell, he was at USC 2 years ago with Clay Helton. I wasn't really sold.
The ball moved though.
Yeah, West Virginia last year. I'm not saying he's bad. I just don't know that I love the hire. At Purdue, oh man, this is going to be a close game. And I'm going to give it to the Illini, but do I feel great about it? No, I don't, because the Big Ten West games are always wacky. Patty C, what are you doing here?
USC actually had the 106 offense in the country 2 years ago. So maybe Graham Harrell.
They scored a lot. Yeah.
No, they didn't. I just assumed that they were moving the ball at USC. I don't know. This one's tough, man. The fact that it's in West Lafayette makes me not feel very good about it.
But it's great to get a first-time head coach with a brand new team in the first month of the season.
Yes. I think the fact that either the road trip to Kansas or Purdue will be a win, though. So 3-2 is where I have them.
I will join you there. 3-2. Brendan, what are you doing here on September 30th?
I know it might sound like I'm copying you guys, but I swear I wrote down win-loss for every game here. I have Illinois winning here. I think I like the Ryan Walters hire at Purdue. I do think it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get it going at Purdue. I like Hudson Card at quarterback, like you guys mentioned. It's going to be tough. It's going to be close, but I'm leaning Illinois. I'm not super confident, though, at all.
Can we circle this right here? From September 23rd to October 21st, and they have a bye week on the 28th. So you could really say from September 23rd all the way to November 4th, every game they play, with the exception of the Maryland game, is against brand new head coaches. Because next up, they get Matt Rule and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Once again, now, when you start to get into October, I do feel like coaches are starting to figure it out a little bit more, but I still don't feel like they have it all the way. I feel like November is when they really start to understand their team some, and the buy-in's all there. I got to give it to Illinois here. As much as I think Nebraska might be able to surprise a team or two this year, I still think it's going to be more likely on the back end that Nebraska surprises the teams than the front end. What are you doing here, Patty C?
I agree. They kind of whooped them last year by 17, and that was on the road this year.
That's a Friday night game, too, I think. This is a Friday night
National
game
spotlight.
I like a Leo Lion and I playing some of these Friday night
Bret
games.
Bielema wants the spotlight.
So you got him?
Yeah, I'm going Illinois.
All right. That puts us at
4-2.
4-2. Brendan, what are you doing here on October 6th?
Yeah, the schedule dynamics here for Nebraska is not all too kind for them. They host Michigan the week before, and then a Friday night game at Illinois, short weeks, only 6 days between games.
Yeah.
So I like Illinois to pull this one out at home and get a nice win streak going here.
Yeah, and then
Michigan and Illinois in a row, just punching them in the gut.
That is true,
for
man.
Nebraska.
Yeah,
they're gonna get beat up.
Yeah, Rule's gonna want that toughness, but it ain't there yet. You know. October 14th, they head to my mom's alma mater. All right, College Park, Maryland. Terrapins, Patty C. I don't understand Maryland really. They're kind of a weird team to me.
They are,
because they're more talented, and Loxley's able. He's got them into some bowl games. I know we talked some shit about Loxley.
They're such an East Coast team.
Yeah,
they're such an.
They've been long still in the ACC.
Not a fit in the Big Ten.
I got the Illini winning this one too. I know it's tricky. I know Tully has been there forever, I feel like, but I just can't trust Maryland week in and week out. I trust Illinois more. And I don't think it's that daunting of a place to go into. Give me the Illini. This will be a field goal game, though. What are you doing here?
I'm going Terrapins.
Oh.
I think Maryland's going to get them. I think I don't know. Maryland's getting more explosive with what Loxley's been bringing in. I think it's finally gelling. Tully is in what, year 3 now at the helm?
They could lose this one. They could lose. I'll be honest. Like, if there was one other game, I don't think it's going to be the Purdue or Nebraska game. I think it would be this one. But
I think there might be a lot of 50-50 on this schedule.
Yeah.
So you kind of just pick and choose which one you're going to have them win and which one you're going to lose.
Brandon, what are you doing here?
I want to hark back on the schedule dynamics. Maryland goes to Ohio State the week before, then host Illinois. I like Talia. He's losing a couple of his top receivers, so I'm worried about the wide receiver position at Maryland. I also think Illinois has the advantage at the line of scrimmage, both on offense and on defense. I think Illinois wins this one, maybe even by double digits.
Let's go. Let's go. And then, Patty C, you see what Bret Bielema did to Wisconsin last year? He might have been the one that ruined the philosophy.
Yeah.
The philosophy to switch to going to passing the ball.
We are now not the toughest team in the Big Ten.
Yeah. He might have been the one that to break through there. So homecoming for Illinois on October 21st when Wisconsin comes to town. Patty C, I love this matchup for Illinois. I love it. I think they're going to get them here. I got them hot right now. They're winning what? This is 5 straight wins for the Illini. Another brand new head coach. He will probably have it a lot more figured out by October 21st, but I'm taking the Illini to take down Wisconsin in Champaign. What are you doing here, Patty C?
You know, it's tough because they're just Illinois is so much less talented than Wisconsin. Wisconsin number 5 in the conference composite. Illinois number 13. So one of the least talented, according to 24/7 Sports. Still, I think I agree with you, man. I think Illinois is just set up to be able to bang with them and get it done.
This is one where you're going to see, like when we previewed Georgia Southern was like a run-heavy team their whole existence, really running the triple option and then also being a great defensive team. And they brought in Clay Helton. They ran the air raid, and all of a sudden, you look back at the stats from a year ago, they're one of the worst defenses in the country.
I think what I'm curious, though, is Fickle is a defensive guy. So is he going to let that happen?
But have we ever seen it perfectly meshed together? Because even like at USC, I don't feel like their defense is ever – when you run the air raid, they don't –
pretty rare.
It's very rare that they end up – now, I know it's Phil Longo's air raid, which is not all the way air raid, but – I don't know. I'm going Illini here. What are you doing on October 21st, Brendan?
I kid you not. I spent probably 10 minutes trying to decide who's going to win this game. Wisconsin's my mystery team this year. I'll just say that right now. I trust Fickle. I think he's a heck of a coach, one of the best coaches in the country. But I'm really curious to see what that offense looks like with Longo. Are we going full air raid? Are we still going to mix in elements of kind of the Paul Chryst, Wisconsin, more ground and pound? Because they got really good back in Braylon Allen. So I think Wisconsin's got a lot of weapons, got a lot of help in the transfer portal. Tanner Mordecai's heck of a quarterback. I'm leaning Wisconsin, but I'm not super confident at all. But I'll go Badgers.
All right. There we go. Going Badgers. We got some contrast.
So what do we got them at here? I think you got them.
So going into the bye, I only have them with 2 losses right now.
I think I got them with 3.
Kansas and Penn State are my losses.
I think Brendan's got them with 4.
No, he's got them with 3, I think, right?
5 and 3. Yep, 5 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they come out of the bye, and I know they had a bye week, but they're going to try rowing the boat. And Fleck always gets up for a couple games. He sees a team coming in with just 2 losses, probably ranked maybe. Give me the Gophers to pull the upset. Land of 10,000 Lakes, Patty C. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I feel like Minnesota will be too dynamic for them. They did get the better of them by 12 points last year in Champaign, this year in Minneapolis. Give me the Gophers.
Brendan, what are you doing here on November 4th?
This has all the makings of a 9-6 or like a 6-3 final score in early November, freezing cold in Minneapolis. I got the Golden Gophers just at home, home crowd advantage there. We'll see what Kelly McManus is like. Obviously, they lose Ibrahim, but I still like Sean Tyler, who's going to replace him. I'm going to go Golden Gophers at home.
I like it.
You got 6-3, and we've got 5-4.
5-4. Yep.
6-3. The number is 6.5, guys. And the Indiana Hoosiers come to town. The question will be, and I'm curious, your guys answering this, will Tom Allen be the head coach of the Hoosiers on November 11th? Patty C, go.
I think so, yeah.
Brendan, will Tom Allen still be the head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers on November 11th?
No.
Yeah, I
think they wait till season's end. I don't think the expectations are that high in Indiana. They got to get rid of them mid-season. It's like, all right, it didn't work out.
That thing's creeping up more and more these days, though. I feel like they're going to start hiring people week 1. It's like, oh, you lost the game.
Yeah. Out.
Okay. I do know Illinois randomly lost to Michigan State last year, right? Now, I know Michigan State's more talented from a talent composite, but it was a game that no one really saw coming. I feel like could they give us another one like that? Are we overlooking?
Is Indiana?
I don't think it's Indiana
Anywhere near Michigan State.
I'm just saying Indiana, Michigan State last season. I know Michigan State's more talented. I'm just saying
that's your answer right there.
Yeah, I'm just saying. My question is:
are they going to drop one that
we're not seeing? That we're not seeing here, because I don't know that Illinois is all the way there yet, and maybe that's where the Maryland games happens for me, or Indiana or something. But I'm giving them this as a win. When I look at it from a game by game perspective, I just think they're better than Indiana, and the fact that they might not even have their head coach here, I got to take the Illini. What are you doing here, Patty C?
I'm with you,
Brendan. November 11th.
Yeah, I'm going Illini. Indiana's got to go to Penn State, then they host Wisconsin, and then they get Illinois on the road. I mean, Illinois is going to be looking for revenge this year. Remember week 1, I think it was? Yeah, Illinois played a week 0 game.
Right.
Week 1 last year.
Yeah.
Indiana won that game by like 3 points, I think, at home.
That was a crazy game. I remember watching that. Do you agree with my statement that we're probably not seeing one? We're probably not seeing one, right?
I mean, I handed them Maryland.
Yeah, I didn't do that, but you know what? I'll get to my point, because if you listen to our Iowa preview, I thought there was one team that has a chance in Iowa City. I thought Bielema could bang with them, so I called for the upset of Illinois beating Iowa in Iowa City, which obviously if they come in this hot and they're ranked, it makes me a little nervous, because Iowa City I feel like is one of the worst places in the country. I feel like for a ranked team to have a game scheduled, but I called for it. Did you call for this?
I did not.
Okay, so you took Iowa. This will be definitely 16-14. Brendan, what are you doing here on November 18th at Iowa?
Yeah, so Iowa has a bye last week of October. Then they're home against Northwestern. Excuse me, not home against Northwestern. They play in Chicago against
Wrigley
Northwestern.
game at Wrigley Field. Yeah.
And then they're at home against Rutgers. So Northwestern, Rutgers, and then they host Illinois. I think if they get banged up early, there's time here to get healthy and you play Northwestern, Rutgers. I think Iowa has the momentum coming into this game. They're at home. I think the offense will be a little bit improved this year, especially at the quarterback position. No more Spencer Petras slinging the rock. Thank God. But yeah, I'll take Iowa here.
Take it, Iowa.
Number 2 defense versus number 3 defense in the country. I mean, Illinois with a much better offense, but still, I think Iowa City is going to be tough for them to get the W in.
So, I mean, I only have this team losing 3 games right now. The over's already cashed for me, and Northwestern comes to town. Is this the one I'm not seeing? I can't do this. They have owned in the Bielema era. They won 47-14 in year 1 and 41-3 last year. So I cannot sit here and tell you that I think Northwestern's going to come into Champaign and win. All I'm telling you is, for some reason, I think 8-4 is probably more likely than my 9-3 prediction when I go game by game. I caught it 9-3 when we just went game by game. I think it's probably more likely that 8-4 happens. So maybe I'm not seeing one somewhere out there. Maybe it's FAU. Maybe it's Nebraska. Maybe it's Purdue, Maryland.
Bullish.
But I'm on the over. What are you doing here, Petty C, in this Northwestern game?
Well, I have them at 6-5, so this Northwestern game is for all the marbles on this over or on this win total. But we are gonna go Illini 7-5.
7-5. So you're on the over. Your boy comes through again. And Brendan, what about you with this season ender here with Pat Fitzgerald against Bret Bielema?
Yeah, I have Illinois 6-5 heading into this game. Illinois killed Northwestern last year. I think it was 41-3. I think Illinois hits the over here, gets to 7-5, wins the season finale.
Boom. So we're all 3 of us are on the over. No contrast, no argument. We're just sold.
Look, I'm not super confident in that. I need to see them without Chase Brown. I think even though Tommy DeVito played well, I still think this offense was very reliant on his great running back play. So if they don't have it, then things could go left here, but we'll see. 7-5. I'm a little confident.
Well, we're all on the over. Patty C says he's pretty confident. Brendan, after going through the schedule, are you more confident than you were just like by looking at the win total?
I'd say so, because I'm also giving them a couple losses, which I could see them winning, like the Iowa game, the Minnesota game. But I'm also giving them wins. Like I could see them losing at Maryland. I could see them losing at Purdue. So I think I'll definitely lean over, but I'm not super confident.
Yeah, I'm a little more, I guess, than you guys because I called for them. I just went through and said 9-3. Might as well give them the
Well, he
national
got
championship.
embarrassed by me so many times.
2 years.
Fading Illinois.
Last year I bought in.
There you go.
2 years
He's
ago.
hopping on the bandwagon.
Yeah,
That's right.
2 years ago I really ate shit on that. But folks, before we get out of here, I got the opportunity to sit down with Michael Barker, aka College Football Campus Tour, on Twitter, which you should be following. This guy he's been to every single FBS stadium, but even it's not like he revisits them. He revisits them. He goes to like 5, 6, 7 games a week. He's just a college football maniac. So I had a chance to sit down with him and I wanted him to tell me about his experiences at Champaign to Memorial Stadium. So here is that with no further ado. Joining us on the college football experience, Illinois Fighting Illini 2023 season preview. Oh man, someone that you need to follow because he goes to 5, 6, 7 college football games every single week. And he documents it all on his Twitter page, which is at CFB Campus Tour. I give you Michael Barker. How you doing, Michael? And appreciate you hopping on to talk a little Illini football and Memorial Stadium.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. And anytime we get to talk about a 100-year-old stadium, you know I'm up for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm doing Google Images right now. It looks awesome. I know they've been playing football forever. I know they weren't the best school historically, but man, the stadium looks cool. Tell me about this history here.
Well, you know, any Big Ten stadium is going to be significant. They opened in 1923, making this the 100th year anniversary of the stadium. It got dedicated in October of 1924, and the first game ever played there after the dedication, Red Grange scored 5 touchdowns. Most famous alumni, along with Dick Butkus. They got a statue of Red Grange outside of the stadium. The record crowd for a game was 78,297. That was back in 1984. Since then, they've reduced seating capacity to 60,000. They had what was called the Illinois Renaissance Project in 2008. They added a modern press box, and a $100 million project was mostly funded through luxury suite sales. So a 100-year-old stadium still has a lot of the elements that we love of a classic stadium. And that $100 million project in 2008 added a lot of modern amenities as well.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems pretty cool. I love the fact it's outdoors in Illinois where you know it's going to get cold. What did you catch a game in the colder months, or was it September, or what? Talk to me about your experiences to Memorial.
Yeah, so I want to say it was probably early October 2021. As a traveler, anytime a Power 5 team is playing on a weeknight, you try to take advantage. Big Ten hardly plays on a weeknight. So this was a Friday night game against Maryland. And I want to say kickoff was at 8 p.m. local. So it was very late. They played a very competitive game against Maryland. That was with Tua's brother, Talia. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So ended up being a Maryland win 2017. But very competitive game. What was cool about it is I always like when you show up and it's sunlight and then it goes down and you get the golden hour and then you get the night. It's great for stadium photos. So I had a great time there. They're also playing another Friday game this year, October 7th, almost the same time, around the same calendar time against Nebraska. And, we got Matt Rule, and maybe there'll be a big time opponent for that game. But two games at Memorial Stadium in 3 years, you can't go wrong with that.
Man, you can't go wrong. And I do remember that Maryland game. Man, that was a brutal, brutal game. I think I had some money riding on the Illini, but can't win them all. Michael, well, I appreciate you hopping on. And folks, like I said, you need to give him a follow at CFB Campus Tour because he documents all of this. Like, honestly, I didn't know Michael at all. And I just somehow the algorithm recommended me, his page, and I'm looking at his page. I'm like, who the hell is this guy that's going to every college football game? It is super awesome. You do great work, Michael, and folks, give him a follow. Appreciate you hopping on, Michael, and hopefully one day I'll catch you at Memorial Stadium.
Absolutely. I have to thank the Twitter algorithm for hooking me up with you, and hopefully I'll see you at Memorial Stadium as well.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right, you too.
Michael Barker, Memorial Stadium. Patty, see, we got to get over there for a ball game sometime, man.
Oh, yeah.
The place Dick Buck is built.
Any place
You know?
called Champagne's got to be a party.
Oh man, you
Heard
do
it's a
love
great
that.
party school.
No, it probably is, man. It probably is a great time. Look, folks, this is our show, all right? But before, so we're all on the over. Illini fans, be sure to hit my Venmo later. Look, everyone, give Brendan Moore a follow. Look at this. Look at this work. He's a college football writer for Sideline Sports Network and Dimers.com. And, he covers the Big Ten heavy. Brendan, I appreciate you hopping on, man. And please come back again and talk college ball with us, man.
It's always a pleasure.
Sorry, for those that aren't watching on the YouTube, A, watch on the YouTube, but B, at BMoreCFP, or CFB, sorry, at BMoreCFB. Give him a follow.
Hell yeah. Good catch, buddy.
I thank you.
Look, I'm Stockton. He's Malone. All right. Folks, make sure you give Brendan a follow. He does great work and always impressed by his page. He's going deep. He's deep diving. He's talking about, he's got players, key player for each team, all this great stuff that I always see on his Twitter account, man. I dig the work you put in, brother. And thank you for hopping on the show, man.
Yep. Appreciate that, guys. Take care.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, folks, give him a follow. Make sure you give us a follow. We're on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Patty C is on Twitter at PattyC831. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. But the College Football Experience is on YouTube. Once again, and this is the hub for all of our college stuff. So, YouTube.com/The College Experience. We have we hosted this show that you're listening to right now, the College Football Experience, right? We've been doing this shit for years, right? But we also have the FCS College Football Experience. We also have the Big 12 College Experience, which covers anything Big 12, not just football. Then I host the College Basketball Experience. And when the college basketball season gets rolling, I am here every single night of the college basketball season with Moneyline Mac. And we've been doing this for years. It's a lot of fun. So check us out. And we also host the College Baseball Experience with Noah Beanick. So check out that. And folks, we come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/The College Experience. We are part of the Sports Gambling Podcast. We just dropped an episode there. Joe Theismann on the show. Go listen to that. Just came on the show. Joe's been a friend for a long time. And also Carson Steele, the former running back for the Ball State Cardinals, who's now starting at UCLA, who will be in the Big Ten next year. So go listen to that interview. It's a lot of good fun. I know we also have Phil Steele penciled in the coming weeks. So check us out there. Get the SGPN app. It's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. You'll get access to all of our articles. I know Noah, a lot of great guys over there writing good articles when it comes to college football or any sport, really. It's fucking a badminton article out there, I'm sure. And also come hop in and the Discord. We talk college, anything really. Yes, I talk college sports all the time, but any sport that you are a fan of, it could be the Monster Truck Rally going on in Mexico City. And I'm sure there's a spot for it in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You will dig it. Folks, this is the College Football Experience. Illinois Fighting Illini preview. We're all on the over. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
We can really run and shoot, and you know